Who's ready for wacky chaos?
I want one.
Woo!
Wait, I don't.
It got weird.
Holding your fists outstretched in front of you, they start to fizz and vibrate as you mutter words beyond understanding. You pull your fists apart, creating a thin rod of frenzied energy not unlike a javelin. Smaller, but more deadly. As you pull back your arm to launch it, the ever-changing bolt does not yet know what it wants to be. But as you release, its decision is made.
This scene, Chaos Bolt, was brought to you by Describe. Describe, ready, roleplay. Visit Describe.com/RPGBot and use coupon code RPGBot at checkout to get 5% off your first subscription payment.
A thin rod, eh?
Look, that's not chaotic. That's just... Anyway.
I'd like to take just a moment to bid farewell to Chaos Bolt. It's gone.
And that's enough for Chaos Bolt.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Hey, I like Chaos Bolt. I think it's fun.
Oh, man.
Is it a good spell? No, but it's fun.
Have you read the new Chromatic Orb? Because it's old Chromatic Orb plus Chaos Bolt.
Which is fine. People got those mixed up all the time, so yeah.
They did. Forget it. We'll just make them one thing. It'll be great.
Fair enough, yeah.
Welcome to the RPGBOT.Podcast. I'm Randall James, and with me is Tyler Kamstra.
Hi, everybody.
And Ash, my manwich, Eli.
Banana hammock!
What? Why
Sorry,
either of those?
I don't know what came up to me.
Banana.
I just, I got infused with the spirit of chaos. That's Mike Clarkson!
All right.
That's
I'm gonna say I'm a...
This is all right. Well, I guess we're doing a podcast now. Hey, folks, tonight we're going to talk about the Plane of Limbo.
Diggy, boom, 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 diggy, diggy.
It's just going to be this all night. Just random interjections, wild chaos, non sequiturs. This episode has no structure. There is no outline. Just a series of notes where I've deleted all of the formatting and hoped for the best.
Winging it. I told Tyler, no. Screw your research. Screw all of the hours of work you put into the outline. We're doing it live because that's how Limbo works, baby.
What's the deal with all these D&D books?
So what's the deal with Q-tips? They're not Qs and they're not tips. Beedly, 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 bow, bow, bow.
All right, like a Githzerai, I'm going to center myself emotionally and try and keep this somewhat orderly.
I broke Randall. That was amazing.
A man just swallow the water. We're okay. This is a professional podcast.
All right. So, gosh, honestly, this could describe the podcast episode so far, but the Dungeon Master's Guide, the 2014 Dungeon Master's Guide, still don't have the 2024 one yet. The 2014 Dungeon Master's Guide describes the Plane of Limbo with the sentence, "The whole plane is a nightmarish riot." Which, boy, I hope that gets you excited for this episode.
Oh, it does. So basically our podcast. That's basically what it is what you're describing.
Exactly.
Nobody knows what's going on. We're figuring it out as we go.
So, because it is the most chaotic alignment, Limbo is the chaotic neutral outer plane in the D&D cosmology. So if you look at like the cosmology of the Great Wheel, Limbo sits on the far middle right, directly opposite Axis, the plane of absolute order. They hate each other. Like
that makes sense.
Yeah. And that may be honestly the most stable and sensible thing about Limbo, because this is a plane with very little logic to it. There are rules, asterisk, but there's very little like order and sense. There's no gravity. You can move through the plane just by thinking, but unlike the Astral Sea where you move faster if you're smarter, It's just you move your walking speed in Limbo. Like you just walk through the sky, I guess.
Wait, so did you say you move faster if you move faster?
Yeah.
That's
very
basically
Limbo of you. Very Limbo of you.
Kinda.
I just got why you said manwich because Limbo got it.
Randall,
we're doing the Limbo, Mom. Anyway,
which of those pixels were you attempting to show us there, Randall?
Okay, so if everybody were to focus on these pixels over here, if we look at the outer planes, what we have is just a crumbling void of nothingness to float along in. That's Limbo. That's how it's visualized.
This is great pod. Great pod for people who cannot see what the hell you're... Not even our chat can see what you're pointing at.
Randall, what page is that in the 2024 Player's Handbook?
Yeah, that's I love the version of this. Okay.
Oh, of course I asked you after you closed the book. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
okay.
Tyler.
It is Appendix A, pages 344 and 345. The illustration is on page 345.
So going back for a second, you said about rules asterisks. So essentially, Limbo works like that bit where it's like the first rule is that there are no rules. Actually, scratch that. There's a lot of rules.
Yeah, it's the Calvin ball of planes.
Oh my God! Yes, that is 100% accurate.
Right. So Limbo on its own is chaos. Like matter exists within Limbo, but its state is constantly in flux. Like one thing can change into something completely random at any given moment, no rhyme or reason, like no transition state. Like this could be a tree one moment and it could be a castle sculpted from gold the next. Like just there is no logic to it. Things just happen. So like if you ever want to if you're a DM and you want to throw your players into a plane where just random stuff is happening in the background, this is it. This is the place.
Ooh. And if you're looking for inspiration for that, if you have seen Ghostbusters 2, a fantastic film, like the whole like void your mind, don't think of anything because they're using things against you, 100%. If you were ever going to have your party fight the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man, this is your plane of existence.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Limbo conforms to the will of the creatures inhabiting it. Please don't. I've met these people.
So
Don't inhabit it?
if you put a child on Limbo, does everything just become lollipops and like bunnies?
Until they have a bad dream, and then it gets very sad very quickly.
All right.
Like that.
Let me explain that statement. I have that in the show notes. Limbo conforms to the will of the creatures inhabiting it. So Limbo is, to borrow a term from like previous editions, it's what the plane can be described as morphic. Like some planes are divinely morphic, meaning gods can shape them at will. Limbo can just be shaped by whoever is there. Now, your ability to shape what's going on is directly proportional to your mental stats, specifically your intelligence score. To do anything to affect matter in Limbo, you make an intelligence check and essentially exert your will on stuff around you.
So if I were a particularly intelligent druid, would you say that it's anamorphic?
Thank you.
Go sit in the corner. That was terrible.
There are no corners. There's no town.
I've decided that there is a corner here.
This is my objection to Limbo. Yeah, Limbo is, what is the term? They prioritize intelligent creatures over less intelligent. But that's boring. I want Limbo shaped by an idiot. I want to see what they create. And so the way that I would say Limbo should work, as opposed to how it does work, is you use your wisdom instead of your intelligence. Because also it just irritates Tyler because he wants to have full control over all of this as a wizard. But that's what's great about Limbo. It doesn't ascribe to your worldview just because you wish it so.
Honestly, I could see it allowing any of the three mental ability scores, like intelligence because you know what you're doing, wisdom because you're figuring it out as you go, charisma because you're very, very willful and self-determined.
Yeah, you're somehow fooling the world into creating the things that you want, just like the real world.
No, like I want the fool archetype to create a space in Limbo. It's like the slottier going through Limbo, and they just come across this large, like Jack in the Box, like, hello, welcome to Wonderland, where we flay your skin off in front of you.
Whoa. Oh. Okay. Melee did not keep that thought going. I actually want to read that paragraph from the DMG. So, Limbo conforms to the will of the creatures inhabiting it. Very disciplined and powerful minds can create whole islands of their own invention within the plane, sometimes maintaining those places for years. A simple-minded creature, such as a fish, though, might have less than a minute before the pocket of water surrounding it freezes, vanishes, or turns to glass. The Slotty live here and swim amid this chaos, creating nothing. I'm going to keep reading in a second, but I just want to focus on that for a minute. The Slotty live here. They accomplish nothing. They create nothing. And yeah, for all the Slotty I've ever met or driven, that fits. Whereas Githzerai, do I pronounce that correctly? Githzerai? Githzerai monks build entire monasteries with their minds.
Yes.
I have also heard it pronounced Githzerai, but I refuse. It's Githzerai.
I'm pretty sure it's Githzerai. I think that's the pronunciation they used in Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm just going to assume that they did their homework.
Githzerai or die.
You're a pun machine today, sir.
All right. So there's one additional rule which isn't explained in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Like I had to dig this out of a couple of other places. So creatures that are in limbo can affect the world around them. They can transform matter, but there's one thing that you can't create in limbo. Like you cannot create from just the matter of limbo. You can't create life. You cannot create living organic matter. This creates some interesting complications if you need to do things like eating.
I do need to do that. That's my third favorite activity.
Do you need to eat in limbo? I thought people who lived in limbo just subsisted off of the energy of the universe.
No, limbo is not one of those planes where you don't need to eat or sleep and you don't age. You still age normally. You do need to eat. You do need to sleep. All of those normal things.
How do Githzerai do it then?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. All right. So the ability to transform the plane around you actually has very specific rules in 5e, which is really exciting because, like, if I'm going to go to limbo, I'm going to ask my DM, can I shape random objects around me and cause chaos? And hey, there's rules for it. Yes, you can. So the optional rule is appropriately named Power of the Mind. As an action, you make an intelligence check to do stuff.
Okay.
And you're given 3 options. So 1, you can move an object, and just bigger things are harder to move. Sure. 2, you can alter an object. So you can change a non-magical, unattended object into something else. And the DC gets higher the bigger the object is. So like if you brought like a longsword into the plane of limbo, you could think real hard and turn it into a battle axe and then leave. That's kind of neat. And as far as I know, the changes are permanent. Like there's no rules for anything reverting if you leave limbo.
Okay, so just to be very clear, like I could bring that longsword in and then I could turn it into the world's largest roll of coins, gold coins, and walk out.
As far as I can tell, yes. It just has to be an object of the same size.
Now, if only I could find a setting where gold mattered.
Could I turn it? Wait, so it has to be another non-magical object, or can it be a magical object that I turn?
I believe it has to be another non-magical object of the same size.
Because I was going to be like, what if I change my normal battle axe into an axe of the Dwarvish lords? I imagined it. It's real.
You can make a very convincing fake.
My other question is: does this mean I can turn my enemy's weapons into something else
if they're unattended? So if you make them drop their weapon first, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So command drop, looking real cool right now. All right.
Wait, what direction does it go if they drop it?
Away.
Anywhere. Yeah,
okay.
just anywhere.
There's no gravity, so just whatever direction momentum carries it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, it's like space, but if space had no rules.
Except for these rules.
These are good rules. Okay, keep going.
All right. The third one, and this sets up a bunch of other stuff, this last one. Stabilize an area. So you can prevent part of the plane from changing, like a spherical portion of the plane. You can prevent it from changing for 24 hours or until you attempt the stabilize an area action again. The DC scales like every 5 steps of DC or 5 points, whatever the the radius of your sphere gets bigger by 5 feet. So like, I think the biggest one they list is a 20-foot radius sphere, which, that's enough to put a house in, basically. And
a summer home in Limbo.
Yeah, just to read that aloud to make sure everybody's on the same page here. So when you're stabilizing an area, the DC depends on the radius of the sphere. The base DC is 5 for a 10-foot radius sphere. Each additional 10-foot added to the radius increases the DC by 5.
Oh, my math was off.
Yeah. What's the DC for a dodecahedron? Can I fit the dodecahedron in the sphere?
How big is the dodecahedron?
Why are you limited to spheres, Steph? Because it's in 5e, it's a cube, and that's just the most convenient shape. I don't know.
Spherical cubes.
I gotcha.
Steph is asking in the chat, what is the DC for various
but it's
3D
Limbo,
shapes?
She makes a good point, Tyler.
Yeah, I agree.
Even in Limbo, Tyler continues to try to put his nerd rules on it when it's too cool for you to put your rules on it, man. I swear I'm not high. I'm just in a silly mood.
I, like Primus, go to Limbo and immediately attempt to exert my need for order upon it.
Oh, God. You ruined
that
everything.
first time.
Sure did. All right. So pivoting away from D&D briefly, we're going to take a look at Golarion. Now, I should say, next week, as of when we're recording this, next week, Tales of the Valiant, their Kobold Press's The Labyrinth setting book is going up for Kickstarter. We don't have any details on that yet, but as soon as we do, I'm very excited to learn what they're doing. So,
yeah, no, that'll be very cool.
Yes. So Pathfinder, in the Golarion setting, the plane of Limbo is absorbed into the Maelstrom, which is some combination of the astral sea, the far realms, and just Limbo, I guess. So it is the unformed soup between all of the outer planes.
The unformed soup.
Is that like a cream soup? Is it like a brothy soup? What are we dealing with here? We starting it with a roux? We got a roux in there?
It depends on what part of the plane you're in.
Are there noodle soups? Does it have
there's...
chickeny
I could go for some udon right now. I'm not even kidding.
Look, there are these things called proteans that live there, and they're kind of like soup noodles.
You know what I would like if the Maelstrom was like a miso soup? That could be dope. That'd be nice. Or a sweet and sour.
What I'm hearing is you guys just want to go out for soup.
Yes,
I could eat some soup right now.
I could eat.
If we could pause, I would just go get some soup, and then we could.
Dang, now I really want sweet and sour soup.
Oh,
damn you, Tyler!
Has Limbo done this to us?
Look, I already told you, Limbo does not allow me to create life. I could create soup as long as nothing in it is living. So, although that does raise a question. Most food isn't living, so why can't you just create food? I haven't figured that one out.
By D&D rules, they're all just objects.
I will say the best way you probably could have phrased that is it's a primordial soup. That makes it instantly unappealing. Because the thing you think of a primordial soup is like, oh, there's gross bacteria and DNA and crap in there.
What if I got even worse and made it a primeval soup?
And then we're back to good again. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, now we're back to good.
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let me tell you more things.
I want to make a lava lamp out of it.
Actually, that would be pretty sweet. All right. So the Maelstrom, it is the space between the outer planes. So there's this region in the planar cosmology called the Borderlands. And it's basically the stuff right outside the inner plane. So it's like you have the layered elemental planes around the universe. Layered elemental planes, you've got that like planar tiramisu. Then you have the Borderlands where things are mostly stable and basically empty. And then the further away from that you get, it gradually transitions into what's called the cerulean void. And this is really the Maelstrom. Like, this is where things get wacky and chaotic and nonsensical. There are kind of rules, but beyond like the basic planar physics, it's basically just untamed chaos. Now, despite all that chaos, the Maelstrom is actually a super important part of the soul cycle. Like, quick refresher on what that is. The setting in Pathfinder is contained in this basically multiversal bubble. If the bubble ever pops or the soul cycle ever stops, the multiverse will cease to exist and will instantly disintegrate. The soul cycle...
Is that bad for Golarion?
Probably.
Depends on who you ask, but yes. The answer is yes.
Little side tangent. We talked about food and stuff. A new idea. We do a cooking episode where we talk about food in D&D. I don't know. I think that could be fun.
We could do an episode about, like, we've done food as like a setting thing, but we could do an episode on cooking mechanics. That could be fun.
Yeah. There's also several books that have made like D&D flavored recipes. We could just talk about.
There's Randall Holding one, Hero's Feast. Yeah.
Perfect.
It has really good cocktails.
Yeah, if you're interested,
actually,
link in the show notes.
I think that's the one Quasit showed me. One of my players in Planescape said, every time I go into a bar, Ash, I'm going to pull a cocktail from here, and I expect it to be there. I don't have that book, dude.
All right.
Wait, okay, real quick quote from the chat from Delta. Invite Keith Baker, because that guy cooks with everything he does.
Yeah, that would be a great excuse to get Keith back.
All right.
Okay, carry on.
Sorry.
Were you podcasting?
This episode is chaos anyway, so I figured I'd add to it.
Accurate. Okay. All right. So the soul cycle. Souls have to keep moving or the universe bubble pops, and that's bad because we live there. So the maelstrom is the kind of soup that souls move through as they move along through the soul cycle. Like petitioners, which are the spirits of dead people, petitioners, shades, whatever, they will eventually like revert to a neutral divine state and float through the maelstrom down into what's called the antipode, nicknamed the drain. And then they go down into that, they get siphoned back up to Creation's Forge, and then fed back into the soul cycle, reincarnated, all those things. So the maelstrom is the soup through which souls float down to the cosmic drain at the bottom.
How did you ruin soup for me?
I put a drain in it, apparently.
Yeah, full of souls.
Yeah, no, pass.
All right, so we will revisit this because, like, just being there is already vaguely neat. Like, there's no really interesting rules for the physics of the maelstrom, but the creatures there are nuts. But we'll come back to that later.
Woo!
So every time we do one of these episodes, like right at this point in the outline, we talk about how you get in and out of these planes. As far as I can tell, like there's no obvious portals that go to Limbo. I think there's one in Pandemonium in the D&D lore, and you can get there with plane shift and stuff, but there's no obvious for mechanics for just accidentally falling in Limbo or anything like that.
I feel like if you're gonna accidentally fall into any plane, it would probably be Limbo because it's so random. It's like you just go to the toilet and immediately you fall in and you're in Limbo now. Congratulations.
I could see it, yeah.
That's why when people say don't fall in, they mean we don't want you to go to Limbo and disappear forever. Please don't. Limbo's like the back rooms of D&D. You glitch out of reality, and that's where you end up.
At that point, you couldn't convince me I didn't just die in the bathroom.
Hey, maybe that's where Elvis went. Ooh, too soon?
To Limbo. It's been like 60 years minimum. They're grandparents who weren't alive when that happened. Anyway, all right. So let's look at again for the first time, for one of the times. Let's talk about the creatures that live in Limbo, because there's two sets of them, and that's honestly too many.
Yeah, that's it.
So I mentioned this before. You can't use the essence of Limbo to create life, and it's iffy on whether or not you can create food that was never living. So unsurprisingly, that doesn't support a great ecology. So there's really nothing that lives here natively. Everything that lives in Limbo was put there by somebody else. And that covers exactly two groups of creatures, Slod, who we've done an entire episode about, and Githzerai. Now, Slod aren't super interesting, so I'll just hit them real quick. I mean, they are interesting. We did an episode on them, but beyond that, like them living here, they got here because Primus, the Lord of the Orderly Plane of Axis,
Mechanus?
Mechanus. Thank you. God, my brain stopped.
Yeah, Access the Pathfinder version?
I think so. So Mechanus sees that Limbo exists, and he's like, well, we can't have that. We certainly can't let that spread to anything else in the multiverse. So he creates this giant rock, goes to Limbo, sets the rock loose, and the intent was the rock would create order from the chaos of Limbo. Now, that exactly did not happen, and instead created these things called Slods. They're space frogs. Their primary mission is to kill everything in the multiverse, especially Modrons.
I mean, that checks out, though. I've seen Modrons.
Yet they're classified as chaotic neutral.
I know.
That's D&D's version of that one person in your party that burns down a small village and kills a bunch of kids and says, "Hey, I'm chaotic neutral, baby."
Wait, don't
Sounds
you mean
like
my
you're chaotic
entire
evil.
Reasonable.
I'm sorry.
Reasonable.
I am sorry.
All right. And the more interesting inhabitants here are the Githzerai. Now, again, not native. They came here after the Gith Civil War. What's his name? Zerthamon. So the Githzerai were led by a Gith named Zerthamon, who looked at Gith and said, I realize that we just escaped captivity, and mind flayers are bad. We're on the same page on that. But you, Gith, are very, very evil, and you're just becoming the new tyrant. We can't have this. We shouldn't be following you. So, huge civil war. Zerthamon is killed, and Zerthamon's second in command says, all right, we're losing. We're going to go hang out in Limbo where there's nothing that will bother us. So they go to Limbo.
All of the chaos and Slod.
Well, I mean, it's unclear if this happened before or after the Slod. So, like...
Before creation?
Well, I mean...
What's that guy doing over there with that rock? Oh God. Oh, God.
The timeline in D&D is so messed up, it's best to not ask questions.
Well, it's a timeline. It's a series of dots.
Accurate. Yes, we don't know who got there first, Slod or Githzerai. It's entirely possible that Githzerai got there first, and then were surprised when Slod showed up eventually.
Okay, real quick. I have to go.
It was dragons were the most ancient creature in existence. No, actually, it was giants who were the most ancient creature in existence. No, wait, it's the aboleths who are the most... No, wait, mind flayers.
Turns out space frogs the entire time. Okay, I have to ask a question out of ignorance. So I've heard of Githyanki, I've heard of Githzerai. What's the deal there?
Okay, once upon a time, mind flayers ran most of the multiverse, and they had several slave races, including Gith, Durgar, and Gith were in captivity so long that they passively developed psionic powers, literally just from being around mind flayers for so many generations.
Not worth
it. And eventually, the Gith started an uprising led by a person named Gith, and overthrew their masters, did a ton of damage to Mind Flayer society. So, like, a ton of Mind Flayer knowledge was lost. We played Baldur's Gate 3 recently. Do you remember that ship we started on, like the prologue, the
Nautiloid?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Words are escaping me today. Man, thank you, Ash. So the Nautiloid, Mind Flayers can no longer create those because the knowledge on how to create Nautiloids was lost in the war with the Gith. So, like, the Gith did a ton of damage.
Apparently not in Baldur's Gate 3. Apparently they remembered how to do it. Never explained.
Yeah. So Gith leads this huge uprising. The Gith leave captivity, and then Gith says, okay, I'm in charge because I led this uprising, and we are making our mission to, step 1, be free from all non-Gith leadership, and 2, kill every Mind Flayer in existence ever, forever. And, like,
I could sign up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The only problem was Gith was a massive, massive tyrant.
Also liked to practice slavery.
Yeah.
There's that little chestnut.
Okay. All right.
It's the classic theme where, without compassion, the dream of the oppressed is to become the oppressor.
I mean, the thing is that, like, it's very, very true to life. Like, usually when there's a rebellion, the person that they replace the tyrant with is just as bad, if not worse, because the people aren't replacing the person in power. The people who supported the person in power is replacing them.
Well, that's what Tyler just said, but with poetry.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I just made it sound nicer because I'm smarter than you. Also, I will say Nautiloids, I think they got rid of all of the Nautiloids have been lost to ages because they were also in Spelljammer. So who knows what the canon on Nautiloids is. So.
I think it's just they've lost the ability to create them. They can repair them if they
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But also, like, they ran the multiverse, so they had such a deep well of these that we're still finding them in service.
Yeah, but if you're wondering why
1970s Mustang on the road still.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're wondering why the Mind Flayers aren't already ruling the multiverse, it's one, because they don't have their main method of transportation. They're ace in the hole, the Nautiloid, which if you watch the Baldur's Gate opening is pretty hard to deal with. If it can just basically touch you and you get instantly captured. And also the fact that the Githyanki were pretty successful in their genocide of the Mind Flayers to the point where the Mind Flayers are terrified. If they make their presence known even a little bit, a Githyanki squad will be on that plane of existence to wipe them out, which is why Mind Flayers have basically been reduced to hiding deep, deep under the world and keep their presence in existence as much of a question mark as possible.
Yeah. So, Gith happens. The Gith people are free. This guy named Zerthamon says, like, hey, Gith, you're being a tyrant. Stop. Gith kills him. Gith's second in command says, all right, we're taking everybody in our faction. We're going to Limbo, and we're going to be, like, not pacifists. They're not pacifists.
Well,
the warrior monks.
The Zerai,
yes,
when he dies, his second in command says, let's go to Limbo. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
This all makes sense. So these are the good ones then?
No.
These are the better ones?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And yeah, Gith's son, I think it was, or daughter took over, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now the person who's in charge of the Githyanki is one of the Vlaakiths. There's been like 102 of them or something. And
yeah.
She's also known as the Lich Queen. So gives you an idea of Githyanki are not so great. So yeah, all you have to know is Githyanki versus Githzerai. Githyanki are the chaotic evil version, and Githzerai are the chaotic neutral version.
Yeah, that's about right. Mm. All right, so these warrior monks, they come to Limbo. They get to this place where there's no food, no structures, no ecosystem, really no place to live, but everything around you is morphic.
Actually, sorry, just to correct myself, I'm wrong. They're actually lawful neutral, not chaotic neutral.
That makes much more sense, honestly.
Very much lawful neutral.
Mm-hmm. So, the Githzerai chose to stay here because it's a good place to be unbothered by the troubles of the multiverse and to just focus on their philosophy and studies. They have this dream that one day Zerthamon will return as a god and lead them into a new golden age. And their whole cultural mission is we need to get really, really good at our psionic powers and really, really good at like being monkish and orderly. And then Zerthamon will come back faster and then new golden age. It's unclear exactly how that's supposed to happen. But in the time since breaking away from Gith, the Githzerai have created this whole society in Limbo where they have these massive fortress cities that are held together by sheer force of will. They have this class of people called the Anarchs. I don't know why they use the word anarch, because in my mind that means anarchy, which means like, I don't get it. But anyway, these people are smart enough that they can make a bubble that their fortresses can stay in, and the fortresses don't transform into something uninhabitable.
So how do they eat?
Okay, so what they do when they need to eat, so first off, these fortresses have like elaborate gardens in them. They have hydroponic food, like they farm and stuff within these fortresses. And they've built the fortresses to exactly meet their needs. And like, you know, if they need to change something about the fortress, they let down the defenses a little bit, change things real quick, put the defenses back up. So they have a way to build whatever they need, but they do have to actually grow the food. But if they need something that they can't grow themselves, they essentially build a portable fortress, and they're always made of adamantine. And their leader who brought them into Limbo can teleport that entire fortress and all of its inhabitants to a place on the material plane. Essentially, fortress shows up, they gather resources for as long as they deem necessary, and then fortress teleports back. And like this could be a like multi-year, multi-decade expedition, but that lets them bring back food, resources that they can't get on Limbo, whatever else they might need.
Sounds like a good hook for a campaign.
Really does, yeah.
That sounds unpleasant for the people like that were there, like raising cows and stuff.
That's Githzerai for you. It's like they will help people if they deem it is within their code and ethics to do so. But you have this farming stuff and this land that you've been working on? No, you don't. It's Githzerai property now.
Yeah.
They won't enslave you. They'll politely kick you off the land. They'll be like,
now they actually they actually prefer to put the fortresses away from prying eyes. So they try and put these in like resource-rich areas that aren't inhabited, so people aren't going to go mess with them. But the fortresses also have really negative side effects on the area around them. All of the plant life withers, all of the animals flee. So like it becomes a barren wasteland in a radius around this fortress until the fortress goes away.
So if I understand you, the typical thing wouldn't be to show up into a kingdom and say like, all this belonged to us, haha. The typical thing would be to maybe like show up in the middle of an uninhabited jungle, cultivate as much as they can, pull in as much food as much as they can, catch as many animals as they can, and then disappear.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if Druid has a problem with you killing their forest, and the Druid's like, hey, can you stop, please? They'd be like, interesting. No.
Yeah.
And if you press the issue, I will stop your heart. So go away, please.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about their leader. This guy's name is Menyar Og, and they call him the Great Githzerai. And he has been their leader since they arrived in Limbo. Now, creatures living in Limbo do still age, like I talked about, and Gith do have like a normal aging, dying life cycle like everything else. Githyanki are different because they live on the astral sea where you don't age, so like that's a whole thing. But Githzerai just grow up and grow old and die normally, and this guy, Menyar Og, is in many ways just a normal Gith. But he's incredibly powerful with his psionic abilities. So, for folks familiar with 40K, he is basically the Githzerai God Emperor. He is functionally, like his physical body is functionally a corpse, but his mind still perfectly functional and all of his psionic powers still work.
Yeah, this is a big common feature to Githzerai stuff. You'll come across a mummified corpse of a Githzerai that is just a font of psychic energy. Mm-hmm. So it's like questionable whether he's alive or dead. There's actually one of those, in minor spoiler, in Planescape, the Turn of Fortune's wheel in the main castle that your players get. There's a mummified corpse that has psychic energy about it. So cool. That's fun. Yeah.
And then it gets worse.
No, mostly just all it does is like you say, "Hey, I'm looking for this book," and its head turns towards where the book is in the library.
Nice.
Okay. Could you imagine being
basically an Ace Hardware?
It's Ace.
Could you imagine that being your existence, like eternally confined to your own body? You never actually die, but the only thing you can do is turn and look at a book.
Yeah, and surprisingly, the book doesn't go into any more detail about this guy. Like, why is he here? What is his deal? What? Why does he point? Why does he have all this psychic energy? Why does he point his head at a book? And the book's like, I don't know, just cool.
Plumbing is on aisle 6.
Well, I didn't accept that. I gave him backstory, but we will talk about that later.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So Menyar Og, very important. I believe he maintains the like non-morphic bubble around the largest Githzerai city. So very, very important, central to the Gith culture. He can also communicate with any Githzerai on or off the plane. So like he is also the world's greatest call center, I guess. And once in a while, when stuff needs to happen, including sending one of these adamantine fortresses, he can reach out to all of the other Githzerai fortress cities and say like, hey, we're gearing up to send another fortress. Could you send me some warriors? And like, oh yeah, we'll zip our way across Limbo, come join up, and then go have ourselves a fun little expedition to the material plane to gather cows and squirrels or whatever else they need.
Cows and squirrels, off the two staple livestock of any community.
I don't know why squirrels ended up in that equation.
I don't know, man. I don't know what these people
they're delicious.
Want.
They taste a little nutty. They're good.
I think Githzerai are vegetarians, if I'm not mistaken correctly.
It does say that they keep livestock.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so I snagged a little snippet of text. Aside from its inhabitants, the most well-defended element of a Githzerai fortress is its food supply. Because Limbo provides no sustenance, the Githzerai rely on crops and livestock they appropriate from elsewhere. Plants are grown in hydroponic chambers, and livestock are raised in pens where light, temperature, and other conditions are tailored to their needs.
Well, livestock could also just refer to them as they're using, animal byproduct, like milk.
That's true.
Cheese and stuff like that.
Like if you're going to be a cool warrior monk, I feel like growing cheese growing cheese, cultivating cheese,
Yeah.
making cheese.
I mean, if I was a warrior monk, I think veganism would probably be the way to go. Just saying. But
Yeah. But better a cheesemonger than a warmonger, though.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so
cheese.
unfortunately,
I'm the same way, Wing Lady. Cheese indeed.
unfortunately, that does make up all of the occupants of Limbo, so there's not much else to go into.
Yeah, if you want to know more about the Slod, the Slod have their own episode. We talked about them. Go listen to it. It's a good episode.
I'll link it in the show notes. All right, now I want to pivot us back to Pathfinder because Pathfinder's Maelstrom has a lot of occupants, and they're interesting. So probably the first and most notable is these creatures called...
Big list. Holy crap.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. So we're going to have to speed through this a little bit because there's a lot here. So Proteans, they're these ancient creatures that existed like before the material plane. And first of all, they just hate that we live in a society. They hate that there is order. They hate that there are rules, and they're doing everything in their power to make that not a thing. I talked earlier about like the drain at the bottom of the cosmos. So there's an entire army of Celestials whose entire function is just to protect that drain, because if anything happens to drain, the entire multiverse falls apart. And the Proteans will suicidally throw themselves against that army in hopes of breaking that drain to break the multiverse.
Keep saying protein, and it makes me think of Mass Effect and the Protheans.
Kinda, yeah. I have to stop myself from saying proteins. It's like, it's not that. Is the Maelstrom anything but a protein shake when you think about it?
Gross.
Yes. So I describe these guys as kind of like the noodles in your primordial soup. They are like long serpentine
noodles aren't proteins.
I don't know. Maybe these are. They're basically space skinks with teeth. They hate you. Other things that live in the Maelstrom, exiled fiends, so literally like fiends that people disliked enough to kick out of their home plane. Fallen Celestials, so again, Celestials that people disliked enough to get kicked out of their home plane. Occasionally, very powerful mortal spellcasters will make themselves a home here, so like powerful wizards, and it specifically uses the term priest kings, might go here and essentially construct themselves an artificial home and then float through the Maelstrom because they're powerful enough to protect it from whatever else might mess with them. There are these loosely defined things called chaos beasts, and their description is a ton of fun. A horrid mass of eyes, teeth, tentacles, stingers, claws, and so on.
And so on's carrying a lot of weight there. It's like biblical angels. Is that what we're dealing with here?
So a Shoggoth or a gibbering mouther.
There you go. More tentacles than a gibbering mouther, but yeah, a Shoggoth. That feels close.
I mean, gibbering mouthers are based off of Shoggoths, I believe.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And there's also shades, which are just the spirits of dead mortals. So I mentioned those, part of the soul cycle, very important. If your life is sufficiently chaotic, the Maelstrom might be where you end up in the afterlife. Like your soul goes to a plane based on like what was your alignment in life and what divine entities claim your soul when you die. Like you go and get judged in front of Pharasma and the Psychopomps, and then like someone will say like, this guy, mine, he's coming with me.
Mine?
So yeah, somehow, I don't know who claims you, but you might end up in the Maelstrom if you're sufficiently chaotic. And shades in the Maelstrom, like they change form and color rapidly. So like you're basically a floating rave show by yourself. It's kind of... Now, unfortunately, that is the only cool part of this being your afterlife, because if you stay here long enough, you become a chaos beast, and chaos beasts are murdery and chaotic evil. So, like, it's cool for a little bit. You don't want to end that way.
I mean, maybe you do. That doesn't sound...
Becoming a chaos beast? A murderous, chaotic beast? That, yeah, all right. I don't know. Okay. Live your
People
afterlife?
choose to be liches.
That's fair. All right. So the shapeless, the shades are called the shapeless if you go to the Maelstrom. They have other options for what can happen to you. It's not clear how this happens, but you can become a Valkyrie, which is kind of neat. It's very Norse mythology, like winged horses and all that. And if you are a Valkyrie, you have one job, and it is to go find the soul of a warrior dying in battle. And like you basically have to get there right when it happens and basically wait for it to happen. And before their spirit goes on anywhere else, you can go to them and say like, hey, I'm a Valkyrie. What if you had a super cool warrior afterlife? And the warrior can say, sure, let's do that. And then the Valkyrie and the soul of the dying warrior merge for some reason. So like Valkyrie is no more, and you become what's called an Einherji.
No.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
No, not even close. It's
Okay.
Einherji.
Okay, so I mean, I was pretty close. It's a soft J.
Yeah.
So, all right, Einherji, yeah. So you become one of those, and for some reason, the primary place that the Einherji live is the Maelstrom.
For some reason, the plural of Einherji is Einherjar. I don't know why.
Old Norse
they can.
I don't know. Yeah.
I always thought it was the other way around, but
Honestly, Pathfinder Wiki might have it backwards. Who knows? But I can't quite figure out why it works this way. Like, why do Valkyries have to merge with another soul to create an Einherji? I haven't figured that out. Anyway.
Also, why do when Valkyries create an Einherji, do they actually lose 2 levels?
Yes. I can't figure that out either. Doesn't make any sense.
Valkyries are level 12. Einherji are level 10.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, Pathfinder. Make it make sense.
So the Einherjar will frequently serve warrior gods like Gorum, Rip, but
Obviously,
for some reason
the soul of that soldier made them weaker.
Yeah, but they also really like to serve Proteans for some reason. So Einherjar can become soldiers in that Protean effort to break the drain at the bottom of the multiverse. I don't know why. I don't know why that's what you would want to do with your afterlife. I have not found an explanation. But it's
because you realize you made a bad choice in becoming a Valkyrie and then an Einherji.
Yeah, that feels right.
The way to get out of this is just in this existence.
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of the African goblin-like creature. That's the singular form of it is Elico.
Okay.
The plural form is Bilico. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
This is how it is.
Languages are weird.
Yeah. Pathfinder was like, let's just not do that. Let's just bring them in and call them Bilico. That's just what they are now.
Yeah.
That's both the singular and the plural.
All right. So instead of becoming a Valkyrie, there's one other option for what can happen to you. You can become a Protean, which is how Proteans reproduce, which is super important because apparently they're suicidal enough to just throw themselves at a wall of soldiers, even if they're alone. I don't get it. But the catch is you only become a Protean if your shade finds another Protean and says, hey, would you please turn me into a Protean? And the Proteans universally will say yes, but only if asked.
Why would you want to become a Protean?
I don't know. Look, if you're chaotic enough in life, maybe you want to become an utter chaos beast in the afterlife.
Hey, but turns out existence sucks. Can we just burn it all down? I would like to burn it all down. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's funny that you use that phrasing, Tyler, because one of the alternatives to becoming a Protean is literally just becoming a chaos beast.
That's true. I did choose bad words, didn't I?
Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah. If it's a choice between Protean or Chaos Beast, I think I'll probably go with Protean.
Okay.
All right. So in addition to all of those mundane-ish creatures, the Maelstrom is also heavily occupied by gods and demigods. Now, the Pathfinder Wiki very specifically uses the term petty gods, quote unquote, which is weird because some of the gods here are not super petty.
Like Nethys?
Like Nethys. Yeah. Kind of a big deal.
The archives are named after him.
Yeah, he's got his own archive. It's exciting. The Deadpool of Pathfinder 2.
God. Kinda?
Is he like the Deadpool? No, I don't think he's like the Deadpool of
How dare
Pathfinder
you?
2.
He can just see through the fourth wall. That is the only thing he has in common with Deadpool.
That's a pretty big deal. That's a lot.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, so Nethys lives in the Maelstrom. Don't know why. There are some other deities. I'm just going to speed read through them. Besmara, the goddess of piracy and sea monsters. She lives on a giant flying ship in the Maelstrom. Honspur, the demigod of waterways. Heifeng, the Tiansha god of sea and storms. Naderi, the goddess of suicide and romantic tragedy. Jeez.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God damn.
We didn't need that. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. became a deity because she messed up serving a deity so bad that she accidentally got promoted to godhood. Yeah.
Peter principle to godhead.
How do you mess up so bad that you get a promotion?
Yeah.
Definition of failing backwards. Holy crap.
Yeah. Okay. Nalini Vati, the goddess of Naga, Nagaji, snakes, and also fertility. Why not?
That checks out.
Sivana, the god of illusion, magic, mystery, and trickery. The speakers of the depths, who are like the gods of the Proteans, but it's unclear if it's one or two or just a two-headed deity. Who knows? Wacky chaos.
Sun Wukong?
Sun Wukong lives in the Maelstrom.
Why is Sun Wukong here?
Because he's a god of chaos and drunkenness.
Fair enough, but petty god, I think he would take some issue with that. He would definitely. He wanted to be the great speaker, equal to heaven. That was what he wanted his title to be, and he tried to kill all of heaven because they wouldn't give him that title.
Right. Feels right. Oh, Steph in the chat has a good answer why Nethys is here. Nethys is insane. Yeah, all right.
I don't know why. I feel like Pathfinder 2 is just giving him shade. Nethys is gonna curse their ass because he's very clearly able to see through the fourth wall. He's like, don't like that.
Look, there are two things that I know are canon in Galarian. One, Rasputin, and two, Nethys can see into the real world. Those two things are canon.
Feels right. Nethys.
Everything else, don't know.
One of the more powerful gods. So.
Yeah. All right, Yamatsumi, the Tianmin god of winter, mountains, and volcanoes. Idursius, the god of serpent folk, immortality, and poison, but somehow not the same as the goddess of Naga and Nagaji. So, like, we've got two snake gods.
Hold on. I thought I just heard a lullaby.
Tyler's phone said go to bed.
Yeah, I have a 10:30 bedtime. I am now sleepy.
I was like, did I just have a stroke? And like,
his phone said, "Go to sleep."
Yeah, sorry about that. I usually put my phone on silent before we podcast. Shame.
So what's funny to me is like you poked at that. I thought for sure you were going to say something about Tyler saying immortality.
Immortality.
We're a myrtle.
That's even better. Okay.
All right. So Idursius, god of serpent folk, the orc pantheon. All of them live here. So I had to look into this because, like, why did they just call it a grab bag of orc pantheon? So orcs have really fun deities. They're all demigods, and they are replaceable. They're killable. And when you die as an orc, you can basically declare that you would like to challenge one of the orc demigods for their spot. And your body will form a visible glowing marker on it that says, this person is actively fighting a demigod. Don't touch. If you touch their body, you get permanently cursed. If they succeed in their challenge, they kill the demigod and adopt their position. So you can just become a demigod post-death. But if you fail, your soul is irrevocably and perpetually destroyed, cannot be restored.
It's a win-win.
Whoa. How is that a win-win?
No,
you could just go
to Orc Afterlife and hang out with the demigods. You don't have to fight them.
You meet them?
That's fair. Apparently, this is a really big thing for orcs, though. Like, they have a very... the explanation I read essentially amounts to, it has stats, we can kill it. And that is their philosophy on everything. I love that so much.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. There's also these things called the Protean Lords. There's 4 named ones so far, and they're basically just Proteans, but with superpowers. And they're fine.
We live in a society.
So a lot of stuff lives in the Maelstrom and Pathfinder. It's very, very, like, densely populated, I guess, but it's also really huge, so there's a lot of space.
I mean, it's like 3 different planes of existence wrapped into one, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And that is everything that lives there. And now, despite the amount of things that live on Limbo and in the Maelstrom, there aren't really a lot of clearly named points of interest. Like, we talked about the Spawning Stone, we talked about the Githzerai fortress monastery cities. in Pathfinder, it's really just the realms of the various deities that live there. I haven't found a ton of details on them. The river Styx does flow through the Maelstrom, but like, honestly, where doesn't it flow through at this point?
That's fair.
Yeah. And that is really that. That is Maelstrom. That is Limbo. They are chaotic. The rules don't make a ton of sense. The things that live there make even less sense, honestly. But
you make no sense.
This feels like a great place to take low-level characters to die.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And high-level characters to have a good time.
I think Limbo doesn't even have an air.
I mean, you could form any random object around you into air, so...
I need an air bubble.
Yeah, I guess nothing in the description that I've read says that you don't need to breathe. So you do need to breathe, and air can instantly turn into anything else.
I think you have to be smarter than a fish, because if you're a fish, it's going to freeze around you or something. But as long as you're smarter than a fish, you're going to make it.
Just real quick, grab the nearest object, turn it into a sphere of air, prevent it from morphing. Just hope you're smart enough to succeed on those DCs.
Stay put, stay. Oh, I'm dead.
The barbarian turns into a blueberry.
Wait, that's fine.
All right, we have a question of the week this week. This week, our question of the week comes to us from @SirWiseGuy. How are you liking the new glitch character concepts from Planescape? And can you imagine such variants of your favorite characters?
Well, as the person who's running Planescape, I will say I've been really, really enjoying it. It's kind of liberating to just throw an impossible challenge at my players and be like, maybe they'll find a way through this. Or maybe they'll all die and it doesn't matter. Because they'll just come back. I will say, if you're going to play with it, I would add your own content, because there are stuff like at the beginning, they do overtune a lot of the encounters to where it's like comically easy to kill your party. But since it's kind of like open world and they can go to anywhere at any time, as they level up, the encounters that are in the book become ridiculously easy. So I would make your own encounters like I've been doing. I've been following the book, but I've also been adding a lot of side content of my own. Like they go to different planes of existence and stuff like that. And that allows them to use that feature more than I think the book really does. But that being said, I love it. It's a great system. One of my favorite moments in the game was when they were trying to get a friend of theirs they were trying to defend them in a trial in Ribcage, which is the gate town of the Nine Hells. Like their friend had gotten themselves indebted to a devil, and they were trying to get them out of the contract. And so one of my players was like, I need my other character who has high charisma. I'm going to kill myself so that I can become that character.
Does that not get you out of the contract?
No. It wasn't them. It was an NPC.
Basically, summon lawyer. Like that was a weird way to cast
essentially.
it. But
it was hilarious and it was great, and I love it. As far as the other answer to your question, to the second half, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I don't get an opportunity to play a lot. I guess if I were to, I've talked about Triss before, my gnome artificer with a debilitating illness. Could be interesting to see her as like the opposite of that, like maybe a strong barbarian person who has a neurodegenerative disorder. Could be interesting. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could go with it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to play with the glitch characters that will all be on a review of Planescape. I could definitely imagine variants on my favorite characters. Like I'm playing a Goblin Bard right now. I could see like a variant on that character, just different instrument, different small but equally chaotic race, like Kobold Oracle or something. I don't know.
Scrim Bandwich. May he rest in peace once I murder him.
Yeah.
Steph is suggesting in the chat Skittermander, which we've got rules for those now. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But okay. that's Pathfinder 2, not 5e.
Well, we're playing Pathfinder 2 right now, so it's perfect.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could institute this glitch concept into Pathfinder 2, but yeah, I mean, Planescape is fine.
I don't have a character that I love this for. I have a favorite character of Tyler's that I love this for. I want to see Jungle Skog, where the through line, they're all chefs.
Just all right. So Skog, like Skog Prime makes sausages. What is like Skog Beta?
Yeah,
right? Like buns.
It's a barbarian and everything is jerky.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I mean, I'm excited to share more info about the characters and their incarnations in my Planescape game when I do eventually do the Planescape postmortem. It's going to be a while, though. I have to say, like, we're going through stuff slowly, and I'm taking my time with it. But once we get there, I'm very excited about it because there's some interesting interplay there. I've basically given up on killing the cleric, though. He's just never going to get to see any of his other incarnations, which is fine. If a dragon couldn't kill him by focus firing him down, then nothing's going to kill him.
Hey, you've had one dragon, yes, but what about second dragon?
Well, here's the thing. I want to do it in a way that feels fair and not like in a way like I specifically overtuned this fight just to kill you. And that just feels unfair, and it's going to create butthurt feelings. Like, he already started to get a little peeved with me when I focus fired him as a dragon. I was just like, you're healing people. He's going to focus fire you down. I don't know what you want.
Look,
he's an intelligent creature. He knows who to prioritize.
If there's anything I've learned from the Geneva Conventions, you target officers and then medical staff.
Yep, and you avoid the barbarian, which he did. And that was probably one of the most brutal fights because I played that dragon at the top of my intelligence. He knew immediately, oh, there's this barbarian that can turn to size huge and hits like a truck. I'm going to stay as far away from him and make him come to me while I pick off his squishy wizards and clerics. And basically, the barbarian never got to do anything to the dragon.
And he still survived. My goodness.
Yeah.
All hail the Leisure Illuminati.
Hail.
Hail! I'm Randall James. You'll find me at amateurjack.com and on Twitter and Instagram at jackamateur.
I'm Tyler Campster. You'll find me on RPGBOT.net, which is perfectly orderly and there is no chaos. None. I'm lying. Facebook and Twitter, RPGBOT.NET, and most other socials as RPGBot.
And I'm Bloggelfargen, the Bliggin Bloggen. You can blog at Ash Eli on Twitter. Find me at starplane.games, link in the description.
Wait, did you change your Twitter handle? Did you change your Twitter handle? Jeez.
Oh God, he's getting
Oh God, the mouther is gibbering.
All right, Tyler, pop quiz. What's the number one way that folks can help share the podcast and, help us grow, help get people to listen to us?
Word of mouth, technically.
Be more specific.
Tell your friends, tell acquaintances, shout at strangers on the subway.
Hey, you! Did you hear about RPGBOT.net?
No,
who are you? I'm just telling you about it. Cool, I'm going to beat the crap out of you now.
Wait, no, okay.
That feels right.
I'm looking for something that rhymes with crate and creview.
I can't imagine what that would be. Box and I don't know.
I love that before I gave the hint, Steph in the chat was like, idiots, it's right here.
All right. You're going to go on your podcast app. You're going to give us a 5-star rating. You're going to write us a nice review.
It's going to be a yum rating because it's on Apple Podcast. Golden delicious.
You're going to go to your local gaming convention. You're going to go to your favorite creators and you're going to tell them like, hey, you should talk to the RPGBOT.Podcast guys. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that's pretty awesome. We talked about a couple different books during this. We will have affiliate links linked in the show notes. If you follow that, that helps us do this podcast every week and we appreciate it. If you have a question of the week, you can email us at podcast@rpgbot.net or message us on Twitter at RPGBOT.NET. And finally, one of the best ways that you can support the podcast.
Can there really be a question of the week? I only get one question per week? That feels wrong.
It's 40 a year. That's it.
Wait, how many weeks are there?
It's more than 40, right?
There's enough.
All right.
Yeah. Also, we do 2 episodes a week. So, whoa, you guys just swapped on me. Did that happen for anybody else?
Me too.
Whoa.
Okay, Riverside just did something chaotic and all of our camera positions just rotated.
It did that to me earlier, but I didn't comment on it. That's weird.
It is weird. Okay. All right. Anyway, back to the hawking. So another great way you can support us on Patreon, where you'll find all kinds of great rewards, early access to RPGBot content, polls for future content. You can get ad-free access to RPGBot.net or ad-free podcast episodes and access to live stream podcast recordings. Also, particular tiers, you get access to the RPGBot.Discord. We hang out there. You can talk to us a little bit. We like talking to you. You'll find us at patreon.com/RPGBot. Also, if you were onto shirts and stickers, but not vandalism, may I recommend to you the RPGBOT.store.
Damn it, you ruined my bit. I was waiting for you to ask the questions that were in the script. I was gonna be like, that's your one question for the week. You can't ask anymore.
Oh, that would have been good. Well,
you ruined it.
do you just want to? We could take it again if you want.
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Ash, what's an affiliate link?
I don't know. What is it?
Who's on first?
All right, folks, that's it. It was great to see you all.
I wanted you to ask what a cool shirt, and then you were gonna say maybe a sticker, and I was gonna say stop. You asked a question already. You can't.
I got it. I thought you meant a different bit. Okay, I gotcha. All right, what a cool show.
No, it's gone.
We killed it.
The moment is gone.
The moment is gone. You ruined it. And I hate you forever. We're no longer friends.
I thought what you wanted, like the thing I did to Tyler, you wanted me to do to you, because that was gonna be. I get it now, though. Okay.
All right.
I hate you so
This
much.
is how you know we record these live and loosely scripted.
And Dan's gonna keep all of that in, of course.
He sure is, because Dan is an artist.
Yes, yes, he is.